Hi everyone, I hope you're having a fantastic day. In this episode, I would love to share this really cute Japanese note bag tutorial. This is the patchwork version of this kind of bag. I quilted this as well. I made this out of 5-inch squares or the charm packs for the front exterior. If you have 5-inch squares laying around, you can pull them out, or you can incorporate your scraps and cut them into 5-inch squares. So the measurement of this bag when it's knotted like this is about 10 inches by 10 inches. You can use this bag as the project bag if you are a knitter or crocheter, or you can give it to somebody who does. Nonetheless, you can use this bag for pretty much anything. I can see me taking this bag for errands, simply throw in my wallet and cell phone and keys. I do not have any digital pattern for this project. However, I will show you in the video how to actually shape the bag, especially the center here where there is a little bit of curve. You may also reverse this bag to the wrong side to get a complete different look. So make sure you choose a really fun lining fabric as well. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and without further ado, let's get started. Arrange 14 pieces of charm packs or the 5-inch squares just like shown on this diagram, and here I've got mine already arranged accordingly. Now I'm going to start piecing this starting from the lowest row, and we're going to sew this with 1/4 inch of seam allowance. Now I'm going to sew the next row. Now when you press this, you're going to alternate the direction of the pressing. For example, if you press the bottom row towards the left side, you're going to press the next row towards the right side, or vice versa. This will make it easier to match the seams when sewing the rows together later. Now I'm going to continue on and sew this row. Alright, now I'm going to start sewing the rows together. So I'd like to start from the bottom here. Simply lay them right side together, match the seams, and I am going to place a couple of pins to secure this in place. Then I'm going to sew with 1/4 inch of seam allowance. Alright, so here I've got my patchwork already sewn together. Next we're going to draw the curve around the center point. So what you want to do first is you're going to fold this in half, making sure that all the edges are aligned. Take your curve ruler and position that along the edges of the center point, just like shown here. Again guys, if you don't have a curve ruler, you can simply draw a smooth curve along the edges. And once you're happy with the shape of the curve, go ahead and cut it with rotary cutter or a pair of scissors. Now I'm going to shape the longer strap as well. Just add a little bit of curve around this area. So you're going to end up with something like this. Obviously yours is not going to be exactly the same, but you got the idea of how it should turn out to be. Here I've already basted my front exterior shell with the quilt batting, and I'm going to quilt this with simple wavy lines. So I use my walking foot and run some wavy line stitches about 1/2 inch apart. So this is probably one of the easiest way to quilt, and I sort of like the organic look that you can achieve with this method of quilting. So here I've already quilted my front exterior shell. Also, I've already trimmed all the excess batting off. Now we're going to trace the back exterior shell. So we will use the front exterior shell as the template. So I lay my front exterior shell right side down, and the fabric for the back exterior shell is right side up. Basically, the right side of the fabric should be touching each other. Now I'm going to place a couple of pins to keep this in place, and then I'm going to take my rotary cutter and cut following the shape of the front exterior shell. Here I've got my back exterior piece already quilted in the same manner. Now I'm going to trace the lining fabric. So I position the lining fabric on fold, and then I place my front exterior shell right side up. Now I'm going to secure everything with some pins and then cut with my rotary cutter. So you should end up with 2 pieces of lining fabric. Draw 2-inch squares on both bottom corners of all of your back pieces. Measure with your ruler 2 inches at the bottom corner and then draw the line and then cut with your scissors. So you're gonna end up with something like this. Now we're going to create a couple of notches. Fold your piece in half just like so, making sure that the edges are aligned. Take your ruler and then measure about 5.5 inches from the end of the shoulder strap and then place a little mark there with your fabric marker. Then you want to take a pair of scissors and snip from where you put the mark, both layers. You don't want to cut too much, just about 1/4 inch wide. And then you're going to snip the center fold as well. Now you want to do the same for the back exterior and the lining pieces as well. Lay your front and back exterior pieces right side together just like so. Match the side notches and then you can either pin this or place a couple of fabric clips to secure this in place. Once you've matched the notches, go ahead and clip or pin all around the side seams and the bottom as well. Then go ahead and sew the side seams and the bottom with 1/2 inch of seam allowance. So you want to start sewing exactly where the notches are. Give a couple of back stitching to lock this in place. Open up the bottom corner of the back and then match the seams. Place a fabric clip to secure this and then go ahead and sew with 1/2 inch of seam allowance. Alright, so here I've got my exterior shell ready to go. Now I'm going to turn this piece inside out and looking great so far. Now go ahead and assemble the lining pieces exactly the same way. Next we're going to sew the straps together, so I have turned my exterior piece to the wrong side again. Then I'm going to match the front and back straps and place a couple of fabric clips and then sew with 1/2 inch of seam allowance. And you're going to end up with something like this, so you can go ahead and press the seams open. Once you've got both exterior and interior pieces ready to go, it's time to assemble them. So here I've got my exterior piece right side out and my lining piece wrong side out. Now I'm going to insert my exterior piece into my lining piece. Basically the right side should be touching each other. Match the center notches and then go ahead and pin that in place or place a fabric clip. So you want to go ahead and continue on and secure all along the inner line or the neckline. Match the seams of the straps. Now go ahead and sew with 1/2 inch of seam allowance. Now you're going to snip around the curve area. So take your scissors and then cut around the seam allowance. Just be careful not to cut through the stitches. We do this so when you turn this bag inside out, the seams will lay nice and flat. Now you're going to turn your bag inside out through the side opening. You can go from either side. Finger press the edges a little bit to make it nice and neat. You can also use iron. Next you're going to go to your ironing board and then press the raw edges of your strap towards the inside about 1/2 inch, both exterior and the lining as well. So you're gonna end up with something like this. Now go ahead and fold your strap and meet the fold lines together just like shown here. Then you're going to secure them in place with some fabric clips or pins. Once you've done that, go ahead and top stitch all around with 1/8 of an inch of seam allowance. So I like to start somewhere around the center of the back exterior strap. Once I've got to the side seams, I stop stitching and then pivot my fabric. and then continue on stitching again. The last step will be to top stitch all along this neckline here. And that's all I have for you today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you next time with another fun sewing project. Goodbye!